Do you think that the 20% yield was also a big enticement, particularly for neophyte investors? I mean, we wrote about it saying it was unstable. We avoided it, of course. You guys may know I'm tight with Sam Bankman-Fried. He was very negative on it. But when you have a 20% yield out there, and you're young or you're not experienced, you haven't gone through the cycles that the four of us have gone through, do you think that really pulled a lot of people in?
Yeah, I mean, but look, being old enough to remember the junk bond, situation, and a lot of blame, and we can. I talked with Mike Piawar before he went down to join the Milken Institute. But those of us who remember, people attracted by junk bond yields too in retail portfolios. The difference is we didn't have an internet for people to yell, complain, get on Reddit groups about it. But there were plenty of bonds that defaulted that had huge yields. The reality is there should be some notion of disclaimer when the problem in this case that makes it worse is, no offense to any of the people who fall into this category, but a lot of crypto influencers, people who are considered to be at the top of their game, claimed or made, if not claimed, their actions would allow people to reasonably believe that this 20% yield was there because of some magic reason, not because of extra risk. And that it was pari passu. And that's the problem here. I mean, the problem here is there was no really reasonable disclosure, and there is no there's some very smart people who I have huge respect for that got fooled here too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You say obviously that retail or neophytes are fooled. UST was the darling of DeFi hedge funds.
I mean, it's
right.
It's
There's very smart money that was very overexposed and doubled down very hard in the last 2 days.
Right, and look, I have a good friend who has box seats to the Nationals, and his seats have, and in fact, if you look at the Washington National Stadium, Terra is literally one of the biggest sponsors there, and so in DC of all places, you have that. So yeah, it's an issue, but the truth of the matter is, if it were not called a stablecoin, if it was called an algorithmically stabled asset, and what you're really talking about, honestly, I mean, in traditional terms, is you're using effectively a version of a derivative or a managed derivative in order to keep value. And what you're really trying to do is smooth out volatility. So you're basically selling calls and buying puts. But everyone who knows that if you're selling calls and selling puts, whichever you want to look at it, if you're selling volatility, that it's a strategy that 99 times out of 100 or 9 times out of 10, depending on what you're selling, works. But that one time is catastrophic. And so people need to understand that, and it wasn't understood. And, they created a shock to the market. And let us not forget that this is happening at the same time as all risk assets are getting monkey hammered. I love that one that they use.
It's worse. Yeah.
Right.